Howdy folks, welcome to my retro media room. Today I decided to take a look at my pretty much my entire big box PC game collection. So as much as I'm a console gamer primarily, I do have a handful of these for PC because believe it or not, growing up, early PC games, 90s PC games are very nostalgic to me because I always saw these big boxes in the store growing up. Always thought they were really cool. Wish I could have had more of them. So some of these later on as a collector I got a hold of just to kind of throw back to my childhood. So to start with, we have Final Fantasy VII from IDOS here. So this now Final Fantasy VII is my favorite game of all time, and I always wanted to play the PC version. I did eventually play it on Steam with an Xbox controller, so that's a fantastic way to play it. And but now, of course, it's on everything, so which is very cool. And to start with, we take a look here. We have, it's a pyramid shape. This is kind of a unique version of it, and I just thought it looked really cool and really wanted to have it. And it also has this front flap here, so you can see this front artwork here. Very cool. We got Sephiroth and the fire, and yeah, very cool artwork. And the way the game in the inside here works, it's not the greatest thing ever. I mean, it's pretty straightforward. It's a pyramid shaped cardboard going here, and all the discs are just in their individual. All four discs are just in these slots, and then you got the booklet behind the slip here, player's manual. So yeah, very interesting, unique. You know what? Look at this. Oh, you can map your you map the keyboard with it or something. Yeah, keypad template. That's interesting. Okay, next is also Final Fantasy VII, but it's this IDOS Platinum collection. So when I was basically just making it a point, I wanted these big box copies of Final Fantasy VII because I was kind of going around with the Final Fantasy VII craze and trying to get every physical version of it I could find. And so this is another version of it on PC, probably the newer version of it that released after that initial one there. And of course, now obviously, as beautiful and as much as I love, it's kind of like laser discs. How I love these big box PC games. Oh, wow, this is a demo disc. That's interesting. They're cumbersome. They take up a lot of shelf space. So there's a price you pay for having such big products. Wow, Deus Ex, Thief 2, Daikatana. Wow, that's actually really cool. This is in and of itself as a collector's item. So very interesting. You open it up here, and you got oh yeah, it's basically just a pamphlet for different IDOS games. Oh, very cool. Deus Ex, of course, the class. I don't even know what this is. Oh wow, Braveheart. Yep. These are really cool because it shows you games that, oh yeah, Fear Factor. All sorts of crazy games on here. Fighting Force 2, yeah. And then you got the game itself. So this is a little bit, I've noticed that IDOS did these a little bit differently. So these are, instead of jewel cases or anything like that, they put them in these flaps and stuff. So that's kind of different. Yeah. Okay, next we have what's soon to come to current consoles here. From Night Dive Studios, we got the PC version of Dark Forces. So this one I certainly grew up playing. I used to love this game. It's a very solid Star Wars Doom clone. And this PC, now this is not the box I originally had. I just have the jewel case standard disc. But man, this takes me back. This takes me back to the day originally playing this. The only thing with these big boxes, sometimes until you get them complete, here's the jewel case. You have to. I try to make it a point to fill them with stuff if they don't have their original. So you got the manual, coded transmissions, and company store. Oh wow. So yeah, these big box games. See, this is actually cool because, oh wow, I'm actually able to browse through all their different games. So that's actually really cool. That's gonna, yeah, there's some nostalgia here. I remember seeing all these games in the store. Yoda stories. Oh man, that's my favorite Monkey Island game. The Curse of Monkey Island. That is a classic. That's absolutely my favorite of that series. Great stuff. All the different Star Wars games. Oh god, I do have Masters of Taurus Towers Kasi fighting game. Pretty bad. Merchandise. Very cool. Very cool. Yeah, this is neat. Okay, that's Dark Forces. And next we have another one that I played when I was a kid, and even though I didn't understand it fully at the time, but I loved the atmosphere, is Blade Runner. So I didn't get to watch the movie till I was a young adult, or at least till I was in my teens at the very least. And so for me, the game, that Blade Runner, the game was my original exposure to Blade Runner as a universe at all. So this game has incredible atmosphere, in which you can play this now on current consoles. Fantastic way to play it. It's been nostalgic to go back and relive some of this, because the atmosphere was just impeccable. Like, amazing atmosphere, very fascinating graphics, really cool pre-rendered animated backgrounds. So yeah, this game was very cool, very unique at the time. So you got this big honking catalog. Wow, look at this thing. This is Westwood Studios. This has all sorts. Wow, there's so many games in here. I could almost make a video just based off of these alone. Look at all these Command and Conquers. There's a ton of them. Ton of Command and Conquers. Merchandise. Very cool. Very cool. And then you got the game itself. Oh yeah, it's great. So yeah, I highly recommend checking this out on you can currently play it on pretty much all platforms digitally, and it's a great way to re-experience it or experience it for the first time. Okay, next is one that there's a part of it that's nostalgic for me. So the intro to this was pre-installed, or the game was pre-installed on our Windows 98 computer that we got. It was kind of because they used to do that. They used to, when you buy a computer, it would be pre-installed with a game or two, or came with a few games. This was one of them. So this box I got later on when I remembered the game. So it's kind of a planetary colonization simulator of sorts. You build bases, but for me at the time, I didn't really play the game. I tried to, and didn't understand it fully. This is a long time ago. But the intro, the cinematic full motion video intro, was really cool at the time. So I just thought that blew me away as a kid, and so I always remembered this game. And here's the fascinating thing, though. So this is old school. So these are floppy disks. Although, well, floppy disks, because the true floppy disks were like multiple times bigger than these, and literally floppy, right? They were big and floppy. But these are the next iteration of those, up until compact discs, aka CDs, that of course took over. Once those became the norm, then these just completely went to the wayside. So these are very old, but very interesting though. That's how it used to be. I didn't play too many games like the only game that I played that we actually had installed onto our computer was a copy of Doom that was installed with a bunch of these, but that was like what was ripped off of old online. And the firm, the way Doom got passed around was it got copied and given and passed around to everybody. Here's this big booklet explaining the game. So yeah, I'm sure there's some people out there, and of course Sierra, classic company, a lot of classic games. But if you lose, you'll be the last. Alien Legacy. So yeah, very interesting, old school. Next is a game that I watched more than I actually played. It was a Torren Passage. So this is a very interesting classic Sierra game. It is a animated. It's got pre-rendered backgrounds, point-and-click adventure animated game. Very funny, very interesting. My sister used to play it. I used to watch her play it. Now this box is a little rough, but I just wanted something to commemorate it, so I got a hold of it for relatively cheap. All that's in here is just the game and Imagination Network. Playing games. I don't know what this is. Imagination main map. Like this is something I'm not familiar with. This is like early internet too. Weird. So anyway, here's the game. So yeah. Oh, Shivers. That's another game. Yeah, it's an ad for Shivers there on the back. That was another Sierra game. So yeah, I just love the artwork on these big boxes. They're very cool. And this is a game that if it were to come out in current consoles right now, I would download it and play it because it's a fascinating game. Fascinating 90s game. Next is one that many people will be familiar with. We got big box version of Myst here. So this is one that I will always remember the atmosphere and music, even though I wasn't very good at it at the time because I was young. But what little I did play of it, played of it, it always had a fantastic atmosphere, very cool soundtrack, very good, sharp graphics for the time. So yeah, Myst was always very fascinating, very nostalgic. Then you got the game. You got this big journal. Wow, this thing is very cool. Oh, cool. So yeah, this literally was meant for you to be able to write down your own notes to solving puzzles in the game. So that's what this was for. Very cool. Troubleshooting guide, and oh, this is a hint. Oh, this is a unopened hint guide. Only open if in dire need. Let's do our narrator voice. Warning: 3 missed hints enclosed. Open only if in dire need. Cool. The Journal of the Mist. Yeah, very cool. Next we have the old classic Diablo. So I played the first Diablo mainly on PlayStation, but I didn't play the PC version very much. But it's a classic game, and I love the art design of it, artwork, and this box is very cool. I love these front flaps that open up to show you more of the game. So that's what makes these big PC box games so cool. And Diablo is an absolute classic, of course. Of course, you got the game, which really I'm going to take these off. So you got the game, some paperwork, and this big booklet. Big booklet. I'm jealous of booklets, man. I love booklets. They need to bring them back. They need to bring the booklets back, man. I love having meat and potatoes in my games. All right, next is going to have some surprises in it. We got Half-Life. So this one is actually interesting. I'll put the price on the screen. This is actually worth some money now. Not what I paid for it. I just wanted it because I did originally have this when it first came out. Lost the box, but kept the game. This is how I played Half-Life back originally. I bought this at a Sam's Club when I originally got it. Played it. That was the first time I'd ever played on mouse and keyboard for 3D first-person shooter. And man, Half-Life blew my socks off. Absolutely killer game. Really, really cool. This is when people talk about the greatness of PC gaming. Back in the day, this was surely a shining example of that, right? Now, here's the interesting thing I kind of did here for me in the box. So I just keep them this way. So not only do I have the PC version of Half-Life in here, which also has the soundtrack to the game on the disc, by the way. So I recommend ripping that onto your computer so you can listen to it because it's got some cool music. I've got a bootleg copy of Half-Life on Dreamcast because the game was literally finished on Dreamcast, canceled at the last second. So the game is pretty much complete, and then they canceled it. And so there are, there's a build of it that people download and you can play. And I got one off of somebody off like Etsy or eBay, so I could play it on my Dreamcast, and it plays pretty good. And then the PlayStation 2 port of Half-Life 2, which is very cool. And the way I ended up playing it after, once I wasn't playing the PC version anymore. And then the big booklet and everything else with it. So yeah, very cool. So the next game is actually one of my most valuable games that I have from my whole collection right now, and that's Blood. So here's the thing. When you merely look this up on pricecharting.com, it doesn't tell you right. This is actually a mistake on their part. It only talks about the jewel case of the game itself. It doesn't reference anything else. In reality, the few big box copies like this, and I got this, I paid $50 for this years back. Very nice box. This is hundreds of dollars. Now, for some reason, pricecharting.com hasn't gotten it right where it lists it properly. The box listing what the box is, because they're talking about basically the listings from Price Charting is only referring to the jewel case in the game being complete. It's not properly referencing the big box itself. So the big box itself, whether it be the limited run games re-release version of it or this version, are worth a lot of money. So I've seen this at my local retro store for $250 a few years back, and it was a beat up copy, not nearly as nice as mine. So, and I absolutely love this game. It's such a fun game. I wish the Night Dive Studios version that's on Steam would make it to consoles. Love the box art. It's so cool. And I love this game because that's how as a kid I was introduced to Typo Negative, the song "Love You to Death," the music video that was included with the game on a bonus disc. So here's another thing. This is the jewel case that I've had for a long time, or at least one of them anyway. That's right, yeah. So this is just a loose disc, and here's a very nice copy I have right here of the game, very cool. But then here's a sealed copy of the game that I don't need to open. So seems to be a shrink wrap copy of the original game. That's fine. I can't. I honestly, I'd have to look into what the seams are supposed to be. Is it authentic or not? I don't know for sure. Hard to say. Maybe not. Whatever. Might be resealed. Doesn't matter. The main thing. The main thing is the box. The box is the bulk of the value. That's the bulk of the value because the game itself is only like 30-40 bucks. So yeah, very cool. And this is certainly one of my gems in my collection here. And by far, the Half-Life is worth a good deal too, but this is quite a bit. I love it. Next is one I mentioned earlier. We have Doom 2 on PC. So this is I got a hold of this because I just love Doom 2 so much. I wanted some kind of original physical representation of the game. So I got a hold of this big box here, and it's really awesome. I played this game so much growing up. Before GoldenEye and Turok and stuff came out on the 64, like before having all that, this was my first person. This was the first person shooter that I was really playing. I mean, obviously it's one of the first of its kind. Wolfenstein 3D being the true first one, but this is what took id Software and into the stratosphere of popularity was Doom and Doom 2. And then Doom 2, I didn't really play. I played the first Doom as a demo disc, so I didn't play it as much. I only played like the first episode within Doom 1, but Doom 2 had the whole game and just played the crap out of it. It's one of my favorite games of all time. And yeah, I just wanted to have some kind of original copy of it. So like I said, the way I originally played it, it was off of floppy disk. It was a copy off of floppy disk, so I didn't really play it off of CD-ROM until, of course, later on. So yeah, Doom 2, absolute classic. There's of course a million ways to play it nowadays, so pick your way, and you'll find a way to play it. Okay, next, real quick, we've got this Diablo battle chest, really Diablo 2. And yeah, so I got this, and it's not worth much more, of course, than I paid for it originally. It's the $20 box set that I got because I just wanted Diablo 2, and of course, Diablo 2 is an absolute classic. And I just once again, I just love these big premium sets. I miss these, like I mean, I understand they're not practical, they're not practical to have on the shelf and deal with, but oh man, see this. I mean, this has the massive Bratty Games guide in it. I mean, holy moly, I forgot about that. Yeah, I was like, no wonder this thing's so chunky. It's got this big freaking Bratty Games in it. Then you got the games in here. Of course, the discs are in slip cases. The CD keys are on the front, so I'm just going to avoid showing that for now. So yeah, very cool. Okay, and finally we have Rebel Assault 2. So this game I played the crap out of growing up. I had a flight stick that I went through multiple flight sticks, in fact, playing this growing up. And the first time I played it was at my friend's cousin's house on his computer, and was just, God, I was just so blown away. It really put you, it made you feel like you were in a Star Wars movie. Like this, like the shootout sequences on foot were so cool. You had the digitized actor and the CGI stormtroopers, and it would have bullet holes or laser blast holes wherever you shot at, and it was so cool. The speeder bike scene was cool, like all the flying sequences, shooting scenes. It was such a cool game. For an on rails CGI uh, shooter. This game was phenomenal. I just blew me away as a kid. And the PlayStation version is pretty good. The PlayStation One version, it's okay. But the digitized version of all the graphics in the original PC version over the 3D models that they changed in the PlayStation version, I just prefer the feel of it better. So yeah, and this factory sealed. I don't really want to open it because I don't need to open it. I just want to keep it as a nostalgic knickknack. So all right, well that was all of my big box PC games. And these two right here being by far and wide my most valuable out of all these guys. All the rest of them are not really worth a whole lot. They're pretty basic. But these two are actually very collectible, and I love these. So yeah, if you like the content, please give it a thumbs up. I'm still on the road to monetization, so I'm really wanting to tackle that and start to make better content for you guys and start to get suggestions and have patrons, and it's going to be awesome. So I'm looking forward to it. All right. See y'all later. Have a great day.